During your weekend with us, we know that weekend is when we all get a lot of stuff done. So we are glad that you are able to take time off to join us this evening. This is Parenting Resources and Initiatives. We are a faith-based, non-denominational organization, and we're committed to helping parents fulfill their God-given role of raising well-rounded children. We strive to enable families to thrive by encouraging them to provide excellent parent-child communications within the home, creating a conducive environment in the home, a conducive environment where a child's potentials can be maximized. We encourage, we support, and we provide resources for parents so that they can raise children who are around, who are spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally sound. We have mentoring programs for ages 12 to 18, and we also have mentoring programs for college kids. We host and facilitate youth programs, retreats, and other youth events for churches as well as for other organizations, other youth organizations. Today we are looking at the topic, developing a sustainable health and wellness lifestyle for your family. What do we mean by health and wellness lifestyle? There's a lot that goes on, in our homes, in our lives. And sometimes if we are not careful, if we are not intentional about it, our health is, what takes the back seat. Everything is quick, instant this, instant that. We don't pay attention, or it's easy to miss the important things. This afternoon, we have a professional that is going to help us to look at what the important things are that we need to pay attention to. Before I introduce our speaker, I just want to share a quick fact, from the World Health Organization. The WHO says that more than 1.1 million adolescents aged 10 to 19 died in 2016, over 3,000 per day, mostly from preventable or treatable causes. Half of all mental health disorders in adulthood start by age 14, and most cases are undetected and untreated. The report also says that around 1.2 billion people, or 1 out of 6 people in the world's population, are adolescents aged 10 to 19. Most are healthy, but there's still a substantial premature death, illness, and injury among adolescents. These illnesses can hinder their ability to grow and develop to their full potential. So you see why it is important for us to start paying attention. Alcohol or tobacco use, lack of physical activity, unprotected sex, and or exposure to violence can jeopardize not only their current health, but even their ability to grow up to become healthy adults. And of course, that impacts their own children's health as well, because it is what you are as a parent that your children become eventually if there's no external intervention. So promoting healthy behaviors during adolescent ages and taking steps to better protect young people from health risk is critical for the prevention of health problems in adulthood. And to the extent that we can, protect our children at the home front, to the extent that we can have healthy nations, all around the world. So again, like I said, we have a professional here who is ready to share her wealth of experience with us. Her name is Dr. Sarah Omodele, and I'm going to be sharing her bio with us now. Mrs. Sarah Omodele holds a bachelor's degree from Rutgers University in New Jersey and a master's degree in nursing from Georgia State University. She's a certified family nurse practitioner with over 17 years experience in cardiology, gastroenterology, and internal medicine. And she's currently working on her doctorate in lifestyle and medicine. She has great interest in preventative medicine and lifestyle medicine. Her passion is to bring awareness to how our diet and lifestyle plays a big role in our overall health. She's the owner of Unlayered Health and Wellness. And in this business, she focuses on lifestyle changes and health education. She's currently working as a sub-investigator doing clinical research. She's married with 2 lovely children. She enjoys reading, traveling, and spending quality time with her family. Sarah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Sister Vala, for that warm welcome. You really said a lot of things that I was going to touch base on in regards to mental health. So I will just briefly go through that. I have a slide to share with you, just a couple of slides here to kind of educate everybody on mental health and also just health in general. So as we all know, mental health is really important. It's something that affects everybody, regardless of your age. I know we're focusing on the young adults today. We're focusing on, 10 to 19 years old, but it affects everybody. So the reason why mental health is really important is because, first of all, let's dig into what mental health is. It's just pretty much relates to your emotional health, your psychological health, and your social well-being. The way that you relate to others, the way that you manage stress, the way that you make choices. If your mental health is not on point, you're not going to make healthy choices for your physical health. I know a lot of us focus on the physical health, or we see our doctor and we go for a physical check and everything, but we forget the mental health part. Sometimes it's a stigma, with our culture. Nobody wants to talk about depression, anxiety, and all that, but it's part of life. We see our doctors every year, once a year, to do our regular checkup. But my philosophy is, if you have a regular doctor that checks yourself for your physical, you should have a psychologist or psychiatrist, or have a counselor or somebody that you talk to about your feelings, your emotions. So it's very, very important. So as I said, I have a couple of slides here, so let's get down to it. So my disclaimer, the thoughts and the information on this slides is solely from me, my opinion, my education, and my experience. It does not represent the opinion for any organization or any scientific organization that I belong to. And whatever I say here does not take the place of your medical doctor's recommendations. So objectives for this educational program, it's why is mental health important for the adolescents community? What are the risk factors for mental illness? How parents can offer support, and how to improve your mental health and physical health. So as Sister Bala said earlier, the age that we're concentrating on right now is between the age of 10 and 19. And the reason why mental health is really important for this age group is because they're still developing. They're trying to discover themselves. They're still going through a lot. Their brain is developing. They're very vulnerable. So it's very important at this age to really have a good foundation, making healthy lifestyle choices, managing their stressors. A lot of things that happen in the environment can affect the children at this age, in the family can affect the food that they eat and things like that. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper in the other slides, but this is really important that we should not take it for granted at all, because this can affect their life as adults. So why it matters, as I said, she's already said she gave a lot of data on that, so I'm not going to go back into that. Anxiety and depression is very common, even with adults at this age. And also with what's going on right now in the environment, the political environment, the pandemic going on, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of depression. So even though you might not have thought about it, but it's there. And the kids that we have, they might not know how to express themselves. They know that there's something going on, but they cannot process it or go through it properly. So it's really important for us to really pay attention to this. So the risk factors of mental illness in the young adults, low self-esteem can make them really vulnerable. Social media, a lot of them spend a lot of time on social media. We all know how social media is. A lot of what you see there is not real. You're going to put your best picture out there. You're going to put your best performance. You're not going to show yourself when you're sad or having a hard time. So that facade is what the young kids see, and they're like, oh my God, they feel pressured. So that cause that could relate to how they also view themselves, but it can lead to more depression, more anxiety, poor parenting says here. If you're not training your kids right, they can have issues, a negative outlook on life, also if a parent has mental illness, say for instance, you're always anxious about everything, your kids can sense it. For instance, if you're not, anxious about what's going on in the environment and you're coming home, you're panicky, you're, oh my God, this and this and that, your kids sense that energy and they take it on and they go on and on and on, and they're also anxious. So if you also have like marital conflicts, divorce, things like that, the environment, it really takes a toll on these kids. And because, as I said, this age, they're really vulnerable, it's important for us to start building up resilience, start teaching them healthy coping skills so that they don't start using unhealthy coping skills to manage their anxiety, because everybody has stress, everybody has anxiety. Everybody at some point in their life will go through depression. You might not need medication to treat your depression, but you go through life, feeling sad. So what are the warning signs? Okay, so now you know the risk factors, you know what mental health is about, and anxiety and depression is very common. So how do I know if my child is having issues or is anxious? They have some social isolation. I see here there's a poll coming up. If you guys can answer that, that'll be awesome. So you can answer the poll and let's see what these results is. So warning signs, social isolation, they don't want to hang out with their friends they used to hang out with before, they're losing weight, they don't want to eat, or they're eating too much and they're gaining a lot of weight. They're struggling with their schoolwork, their grades are failing, they're very irritable, they're very anxious, they're very angry. You need to look into that. There might be something going on underlying that you need to really pay attention to as a parent. So achieving optimal mental health. So we're going to go to that now. I'm going to go through a lot. As I said, I have a couple of slides to tell you guys to kind of review. These things are very important for mental health and physical health. If you're trying to prevent or reverse chronic illnesses like, really common out there, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, studies have shown that these elements of life can actually prevent those things, can make your mental health better, can build resilience. So it's something that we don't really think about it. It's simple. Or nutrition, okay, well, exercise, taking a nap, sleeping. You might not really relate it, but it's very important. And studies have shown that people that actually practice 3 or more of this, are known to have less depression, less anxiety, can manage their health a little bit better. So here I have, as I said, nutrition, exercise, hydration, sleep, avoiding harmful substances, stress management, outlook, and social connection. Okay, so here I see, let's see here. It says, are adolescents immune to mental illness? So no, they're not. That's good. I'm happy that a lot of you understand that. It says, why is my diet important for physical and mental health? That's good. Good answers. How many hours of sleep do teenagers need? 8 to 10. Awesome. You guys are smart. Look at that. Awesome. Okay, so let's keep going. So when it comes to nutrition, mental health, physical health, we don't really marry them together. I've noticed that. As I said, I have, as Auntie Bola had introduced me earlier with my background, I worked in the hospital for so many years. I've seen a lot of chronic illnesses with adults, heart disease and things like that. But you never really connected to say your diet is really is the main thing here, what we put in our body, So for if you want to manage depression or manage high blood pressure, you have to look at what you're eating. You have to eat more plants. The average American diet, we only eat about 10% of fruits and vegetables. We eat more carbs, we eat more processed food, we eat more meat, and that's why we have all these chronic illnesses. That's why we have all this depression and anxiety. So a little bit about how diet can affect anxiety and depression and things like that. So if we take a little bit closer, take a look at how the kind of food that we eat. Say we eat a lot of fast foods, a lot of processed food. Those foods are high in calories, they're high in sugar, they're high in salts, and they're high in fat. So those things, they're pretty much highly concentrated, and they affect the brain. They increase the dopamine levels. Dopamine and serotonin, those are the two most common neurotransmitters. They work in the brain. Those are those little things that help you feel good, or if it's low, that can make you feel sad. So the food that you eat can actually increase those levels temporarily. If you eat something that is fatty, like French fries or things like that, donuts, you have that rush of sugar and energy. You feel good for a while. You get that energy, then after a while you come down. So studies have shown that up and down and roller coaster can actually cause depression, make it worse, can actually cause more anxiety, and obviously can cause chronic illnesses. Nutrition is really really important, and there's really no time for me to really go deep into nutrition, and that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about. And maybe another time when we can have another discussion, I can talk about nutrition, how you can actually reverse a lot of these diseases that we have. We can reverse diabetes now. We can reverse heart disease. We didn't know that before, but now we can. So this is a diet that I highly recommend. I recommend a whole food plant-based diet. I know a lot of you have, you've noticed there's no meat and there's no dairy product or anything like that. That is what we recommend. Studies have shown that a diet that is high in animal products, dairy, and and oil, they cause a lot of chronic illnesses. They cause insulin resistance, inflammation, weight gain. So you have to eat like this, eat a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, drink water instead of drinking, sodas and diet sodas and things like that. You're worried about protein. Oh, how am I going to get my protein if I don't eat chicken and fish? There's so many foods that have protein in them that we have no idea about. Beans, for instance, has a lot of protein. Chickpea, nuts, legumes, they have all that without the cholesterol, without the fats and inflammation and things like that. And this applies to our young adults too. Whatever they start eating now, whatever habits they learn now, they're going to continue that to adults age, and also it's not too early to change your diet. It's not too early. You might think that, okay, kids, they're young, they can eat whatever they want to eat, that's fine, they're still young. We're having kids that have diabetes now. We're having kids that have heart disease now. We're having kids that have type 2 diabetes, cancer, they have arthritis, they have autoimmune disorders. They're not too young, even though they're young, but their body is human. They will react the same way that we react. So it's important for us to make healthy choices and make all these foods available at home for the kids to pick. Okay. So the next element is hydration. We have to make sure that we drink a lot of water. As I said, the little things that we don't really pay attention to are very important. Hydration helps with weight control, helps with fatigue. If you're feeling tired or you have a little headache here and there, you might want to find out, am I drinking enough water? What's going on here? You need to hydrate a little bit more. If you drink a lot of water, it helps with your skin, it helps with digestion, it helps with toxin elimination. So hydration is really good. Exercise. We need to exercise. We need to be physically active. A lot of us are not. We sit home, especially during this time, a lot of people work from home. You know, a lot of kids are not at school. They're doing virtual learning. They need to be active. They need to walk around, find a sport that they like. If they like to run, if they like to jog, if they like to, just find something that will make you move, because it improves your mood, improves your self-esteem, especially at that age. It keeps your weight from, getting out of control. And I will recommend at least 30 to 60 minutes per day, of physical activity. Do something that will make you sweat a little bit, as opposed to just, sitting down and not doing anything. So this is very common at this age. As I said, young adults, they always want to explore, you know, the environment, the society, encourages it. But kids that are especially vulnerable, as I said, this age, their brain is growing and things like that. If they start getting involved in, smoking and using drugs, it can actually tip them over, and some of them can actually develop full-blown mental disorders like schizophrenia, like bipolar. Studies have shown that, if a child has the risk factor or is susceptible to have schizophrenia, if they take drugs like marijuana or whatever, things like that, they end up becoming a full-blown schizophrenic. So you really have to be careful. Kids need to avoid this, and also adults. We tell our kids, don't do this, don't do that, but they look at us and we're doing the same thing. The kids are not going to believe us. They're not going to believe us. They're going to be like, okay, but mommy's doing it, so why can't I do it? So we also have to, avoid all this harmful substances. Stress management. So this is important for overall health and for mental health. A lot of us go through stress. Right now, there's a lot of stress. As I said, the environment is stressful. The political atmosphere, there's a lot of stress going on. The kids, there's the schoolwork. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of work to do. So it's important for us to learn healthy coping skills to help us manage our stress. So for me personally, whenever I'm stressed, I know some of you can relate to this. Before I found a healthier way, whenever I'm stressed, I eat. I mean, a lot of people, it's a common thing. It's called emotional eating. When you're stressed, you just grab something and just eat. If you're lonely, you're stressed, you're depressed, you just eat. So whenever I'm stressed, I eat. But when I realized that, okay, I need to find another way to manage my stress, then I was able to start living healthier. I started losing weight. I found other things that was less destructive to my body. So examples that I have here for you, meditation, relaxation, they help a lot. I practice meditation. I practice deep breathing. It helps a lot to manage your stress. You can journal, they can write your feelings down, just write it out, and that will help you process and manage your stress. You can listen to music, calming, soothing music. You can take walks outside, get the sunlight in, fresh air, take a walk. Actually, it helps your brain. It helps declutter your brain, especially when you go outside and take a walk. It helps a lot. Trust me, I do it all the time. Whenever I go outside and take a walk when I'm stressed, it's like I just feel so calm, and whatever I'm stressed about is not as stressful as I thought it was. I'm able to now manage my time and manage, the things going on. So definitely walking helps a lot with stress management. Practicing gratitude. That's something that, science have backed it up now. If you practice gratitude just meaning being thankful for the little things. It changes your brain. It changes the way you process things. You can have list 5 things a day that you're grateful for. It's little things. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful that I'm alive. If you start thinking that way, it changes your mind, it changes your outlook, and you're able to manage, what you have on your plate. And sometimes you might need to reevaluate what you have on your plate. If you have too many things you're juggling, you might have to take some things away so you can get your sanity and so you can keep your health. Okay, so let's keep moving. Sleep is very important too. We take that for granted. I've heard some people say, oh, sleep is overrated. No, it's not. It's very important. Sleep is not overrated at all. Studies have shown that if you don't have enough sleep, say people that have less than 7 hours of sleep a day, it's shown that they have a lot of chronic illnesses. They develop a lot of chronic illnesses. They have problem with their memory and concentration. They have problem with weight. They gain a lot of weight during that time. They have issues with their moods and emotions and things like that. So sleep is very important because when you sleep, that's when your brain is actually, keeping all the things that's happened during the day, what you've learned, what you've seen. It keeps it in the storage house somewhere for long-term memory. But if you don't have enough sleep, you cheat your body of that sleep, you can't remember. I mean, some of you might notice, and maybe if that happened to you, if you don't have enough sleep for quite a while, then you're trying to remember something. You can't. You're like, oh, I can't remember what. It's because your brain did not have that enough time to store away those information. So for our young adults, as we see here, between the age of 10 and 17, it's recommended that they have at least 8 to 10 hours of sleep. And if you're 17 and up, 7 to 8 hours or 7 to 9 hours. For us that are busy, try to get at least 8 hours of sleep in. You trust me, you'll feel better once you sleep consistently 8 hours a day. So the next is social connection. Humans were made to interact with others, we're made to socialize, we're made to communicate with others. So if you isolate yourself, you have more problems, you have more depression, more anxiety. You have to interact with others, find that connection, interact with your family. I know what's going on right now, there's a lot of social distancing going on, but you can still have that connection. Okay. Zoom meetings like we're doing right now, FaceTime, calling your family on WhatsApp or whatever, just get that connection. I know sometimes we might not be able to physically meet, our friends and families, but at least you have that interaction. It's very, very important because, as I say, humans were made to interact. It improves your feeling of belonging, improves just your feeling of being loved and wanted. So, those things affect your brain, so social connection, definitely very important. Also, I listed here self. Sometimes you want some time alone. You need to be able to connect with yourself. Connect with yourself meaning, okay, I have some me time. What do I want? What are my values? You need to connect, you need to connect with yourself. You need to connect with nature, go outside, take a look at the sky, the trees. It helps a lot with your mental health and your physical health. If you have pets, that's great for connection and, community, the church, your study groups, or, on Facebook, there's a lot of groups out there. Even though social media might not be 100% positive, but it's also, 100% positive. Yeah, I'm sorry. Social media is, it's good and also can be bad. But when it comes to community, you have all these little groups here and there. So you still have that connection and belonging. So let's look at mindset and outlook. So that also affects our overall health and physical health and mental health. So as I said, gratitude, you have to practice gratitude because that helps improve your mood. You have to surround yourself with positive people, people that love you, people that care about you. And also your attitude affects your mental health a lot. If you look at things always on the negative side, it's going to make you always feel negative. But if you look at things on the positive side, you have more, your outlook on life will be better, and that will improve your self-esteem, improve your mood, and also improve, as I said, your mental health, because that's the thing that we're really focused on. So tips to improve your mood, little tips, as I said earlier, still the same thing, journaling, exercising, spending time in nature. You have to, interact with others. You can't just, stay on your own. You have to express yourself, communicate with people, tell people how you feel. Those things help you a lot. So now that we know we've gone through all the elements of how to optimize our physical health and mental health, now what is the role of the parents? What are we, parents, that what can we do to our kids? How can we help them, be resilient? How can we help them build, strong coping skills? So for parents, we are responsible for a lot. We need to spend time with them. We need to, talk to them. How is your day going? What's going on? Just don't ignore them and say, oh, well, he's doing his own thing or she's doing her own thing. No, you need to find out what's going on. How was your day? How are you feeling today? Just give them a little bit of support, get involved in their life. Encourage them to share their feelings. Some of them, because they're young, they're still going through that process. They might not know how to express themselves. With my daughter, I was trying to ask her a couple of questions of how I'm feeling, how she felt about certain things. She didn't really know how to express it. So I had to kind of give her, okay, do you feel this way? Do you feel that way? So you have to let them tell you how they feel, and you can help them process through that emotion. Try to do things together, try to give them space. Also, don't overwhelm them with, okay, you have to be here, I want to see you, you have to be, no, you have to give them a little bit of space. And also this, as I said, as we're supporting our children, we also have to set good examples. We have to eat healthy. We have to exercise ourselves. We have to practice what we preach. We have to take care of ourselves. If we are sad, if we're depressed, or we're anxious, or we're not physically active, or we're not healthy, we can't take care of our children. We can't take care of our kids. So we also need to take care of ourselves, because you can't give from an empty cup. You can't. If you need help, if you're also going through a little, challenges and things like that, reach out for help. Learn how to manage your stress also. The things that I listed, earlier are also things that you can do for yourself, for your own well-being. So when do we seek professional help? Now you've looked at the warning signs, the risk factor, you've done all this, but you still feel like there's something going on. You have to reach for help. If you notice that your child has suicidal thoughts, you've tried your best, but there's just something is not right. They're failing in school, they're drinking, they're smoking, they're very isolated, they're not interacting with anybody. That is the time you need to go out and reach for help. You need to get a doctor, get a professional, get a counselor, and help them through. So in summary, in order for you to promote your mental health and your physical health and build resilience and also prevent illnesses in the long run, you need to do this, stay active. As I said, you have to stay connected, avoid harmful substances. You need to eat healthy, make healthy choices, stay away from the fatty foods and the oils and the things out, processed foods, stay away from those, and learn how to manage your stress and sleep well. So this is all I have for you guys. Thank you so much. And If you have any questions, I would love to hear it.